Hi there, my name is Kendrick, and today I get to interview Jonathan. So, Jonathan, welcome, man.
Hey, thanks.
Uh, can you tell us your full type, please?
Yeah, I'm an ESFP jumper. Masculine, feminine, SETE, play, consume, sleep, blast.
All right. And then when you got your results back, what did you think and how did you feel?
When I got my results back, I was like, I told these motherfuckers I knew who I was. But nobody wanted to believe me. Like they swore that it was impossible, but I had to show y'all.
So, what part of your type did you get right, like to begin with?
All of it except for the sexuals and so I was half off on the sexual. I had myself a double masculine, not masculine, feminine. And then the last part, the demon. So I had myself at sleep blast instead of blast last. That's it.
I see. I see. Okay. Well, you prove people wrong, which is awesome. I do notice that ESFPs in general, maybe I don't know if it's like because um Dave and Shan, they have the same function stack as like the ESFPs, so it's easier for you guys to follow the system, coming from someone that has the same function stack. But I do notice that ESFPs are pretty good at typing, in general, so especially the SETEs. So take it as you will. So anyways, let's go with the elephant in the room first, which is blast last. And your blast is NITE, and it's your fourth animal, and it's also double feminine. So it's gonna be like the hardest thing in the world. Can you talk about like how hard it is for you to teach people your known information, especially if it's abstract and it's logical?
I don't.
You don't have
I
trouble
don't.
with that?
No. I have hella trouble. I don't bother. I don't. I don't bother teaching nobody shit. If you don't know it, I have a simple solution. I can get you in the car and I can take you and show you. And hopefully, with enough like examples, you can kind of see and understand like what's going on here. Otherwise, I'm not gonna teach you nothing you don't know. I mean, personally, I could show you.
So you use play to teach people. You don't use the blast at all. I see.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Um, okay, so the opposite of that is your consume, and your consume is double masculine. And you have it as your second savior. Can you talk about your masculine extrovert sensing and your masculine introvert feeling, and like those two being double masculine? How is that? Why you thought you were double masculine, or like what's going on here?
That might be why I thought I was double masculine. I just thought I was double masculine because of my delivery and my tone. I I was relating to um, individuals like Jocko and other like double masculine individuals, and thinking like that's how I kind of carried myself, and just kind of seeing that in them, and thinking that that's also in me.
So now that you have your, because if you were double masculine, that means you would feel feminine inside. But uh, if you are your sexual modality, the MF, you're a mofo, just kidding. So that means you feel masculine inside. So do you feel more masculine inwards or feminine inwards?
Honestly, I'm fairly balanced. I think big men need love too. That's something I constantly say all the time. Like I don't think we give men enough credit. You know what I'm saying? Like that's something that is really deep. Like if you really wanted to ask me questions about that, we could probably go in for like a cool minute about how I believe that masculine men deserve more appreciation in our community. But that I mean, I could probably talk for ages about what it means to be masculine and to still have emotions and feelings and to be able to voice those and concern those without people shitting on you. Yeah.
Okay, so why don't we talk about your NF sleep then? Because you want to go talk about like emotions, abstract stuff. So let's talk about your NF sleep and kind of like what you just want to talk about, like, masculine man needs love too. Let's talk about that. So
Well,
what's your take on that?
the funny thing is like you're gonna call it enough sleep. I'm about to use real world examples like ASAP, like because that's just what I know. Like I'm a big dude. I don't know if you can tell. I'm like 6'4",
Oh yeah, yeah,
330,
you are huge.
and I've been this size since I was 12.
Oh
You
my
know what I mean?
God.
Like 12, 13 years old. There's times when I lean down and I got to be like 195, just ripped, shredded, looked like a UFC fighter.
Sweet.
And people treated me different when I was slimmer. And I thought it was bullshit. Like when a female was, tried to talk to me when I was 19, versus when I was like 15. It'd be the same female. I was like, get the fuck out of my face. I don't feel like dealing with you because you didn't appreciate me when I was larger. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of like that. Like we don't give respect and appreciation to those who look like the bad guy, because that's basically what it is. Like I think they made a movie about that recently where they had like different bad guys and they're all big or ugly or something like that. And they just wanted to be loved too. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that's a constant trope that I think that's going on, is that the bad guy has a soft heart and stuff.
Okay. So you said something to me that I want to ask you about. So I think this is a good time to ask you. So you were talking about like that chick who saw you when you were bigger when you were 15, and then when you were ripped at 19, and then she was treating you differently, and then you didn't like that. I feel like it's because of your NF sleep. So inside you feel like you're deep, emotional, you have like a lot of wisdom, and you want people to like you for that side of you, not for like your appearance and stuff, not like the ST or the SF.
Yeah.
So do you relate with that sentiment? And that's why, when that happened, you're kind of offended.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
Like see me for who I am, not just what I present.
so who are you then? Let's go with that, because you want people to see you for who you are, but then who are you? Like.
That's a good ass question. Like I've traveled the world. Well, unfair to say the world, but I traveled a large, percentage of the world. I see you got a map behind you, and on that map, I've been to like most of the U.S., to Mexico, to France, to Senegal, to what have you. And the thing I noticed when I was traveling was basically the more of a minority you are, the more people just see you for that minority. Like when I'm in Africa, I'm Jonathan. I'm not a big black guy. I'm not I'm not a wrestler. I'm not a lawyer or anything. I'm just Jonathan. I can be whatever I want to be there. But when I'm in like California, it's just like, oh, he's a bouncer. He's this wrestler. Like he's this guy. And
You're also a lawyer?
No, I studied law. I work as a paralegal sometimes.
Okay.
I was considering becoming a lawyer, but then it sounds really boring. That probably sounds funny to some people. To be like, oh, I would be a lawyer, but it's boring.
Yeah, it's like an IJ job, I think.
Yeah. There's like this IJs I used to work with, and she was really good at the job. I was good at the job too, but she got celebrated for. I didn't really get celebrated for.
So, wait, how many countries have you been to?
5 or something.
5? Okay. So I thought, okay, so France, Senegal. Why did you go to Senegal specifically? Just curious.
Oh, okay. So I was supposed to go to Nigeria.
Okay.
Right? And I had all my stuff ready to go to Nigeria. I had my reservation. They wanted a $10,000 bond. They wanted a business plan. They wanted a whole bunch of stuff to get my visa to go, right? And I submitted all that stuff. And then 6 months later, I hadn't heard nothing back. So I was just kind of like, what's going on? My plane leaves this week and I ain't heard shit. So I emailed them like, yo, I ain't heard from you guys. What's going on? Where's my visa? And they're like, we didn't approve your visa yet. And
Oh,
I'm like, what you mean you didn't approve my visa yet? Like, I'm leaving now. And they just kind of like, oh, well, we're not going to give you the visa when you arrive, so you got to wait. So I'm like, fuck that. So I'm like, where the hell else can I go? Because I already took 2 months off of work. I paid all my bills ahead of time. I done did everything that I potentially could have done to make this trip possible. And I was just kind of like, I don't know what the fuck else I'm supposed to do. So I looked to see who would take me on a week's notice.
yeah.
And Senegal was like, yeah, come on through. So I was just like, okay, cool.
You just went there for vacation or what? Or like what? Like or
I went for a pilgrimage. I
oh,
wanted to know who I was, like I had took DNA tests, but
Yeah.
I actually wanted to know the culture and blend in with the people and actually experience that instead of just read the book. You know what I mean?
So your DNA said that you were Nigerian?
Yeah, it said I was a mixture of most West African countries,
I see.
Nigeria, Senegal, Cameroon, Congo,
Senegal.
I don't really know.
They speak French there, right? In Senegal?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay, cool. So how did you feel then when you went there? Like you said, like you're like everyone else, right? So you blend in. So how did that feel? Like, and then versus
It was amazing, man. It was the best experience of my life.
Yeah.
It was the first time that I got to be myself. Like
Really?
for real. Yeah, because nobody assumed anything right off the bat. The first assumption that they made was that I was an American. And they made the American because I was fat.
That's good.
It wasn't even like anything else. It's like he's fat, he wears fancy clothes, and he speaks English.
Yeah.
So he's an American.
Yeah, that's so funny.
After I learned French in Wolof, I was in there, and they couldn't tell the difference between me and them.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. That's cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can relate to what you said. Like when I go to Asia, like I do like the feeling of blending in, Like when I am traveling in North America or Europe or like other continents, I'm like, oh yeah, I stick out, Like I get called Jackie Chan like when I'm in South America,
For real? Like you don't look shit like Jackie Chan.
I know, I don't, but they're like, hey, Jackie Chan. Or they'll tell me, it's like, oh, I like Jackie Chan. I'm like, yeah, he's my uncle, obviously, like, but yeah. So it's all good. I can kind of relate. All right, cool, man. So let's talk about your NF sleep then, because like that's who you want people to know you as. So like, what do you stand for? Who are you? And what do you stand for? Like, what's important to you?
Well, equality, like real equality. I don't believe that people should be judged for what you believe them. Instead, I believe you should judge people for what they do, for what they think, for what they feel. And that's a hard part about, I suppose, who I am. Like I really do take offense to that. I don't really know. You're asking me blaster questions I don't have answers for. You know what I mean? Like it's hard for me to say and stuff.
Yeah,
it's like fine. You gotta ask the questions, man. Like you gotta play with me.
Well, I thought I did, but okay. So okay, let me ask you then. You said that you care a lot about equality, and you don't want like anyone judging anyone and whatnot. Do you find that when you see other races, like you don't judge them? Like let's say you see someone that's like Latino, Latina, or like from the Middle East, like the Middle East stereotype is they're gonna bomb something, right? Like I mean, like just
man, that shit is so fucking stupid.
Right. So yeah. So
to answer that question, no, I don't. Like
okay.
At least not. I try not to. I get disappointed a lot. I'll say that. Because let's say I live in San Jose, California. I'm from San Jose, California. Okay. I don't live there currently. I live a little bit northern. But I'm from San Jose. And San Jose is a largely Chinese and Mexican population. All right. For anybody who doesn't know that. I don't know if you know that or not, but it's largely Chinese and Mexican population. So I grew up in that. I was cultured in that. And when, like, let's say I meet like a Mexican person and I, like not my first girlfriend was Chinese. Okay, for either of them. my first couple girlfriends, right? My first girlfriend was Chinese, right? My second girlfriend was Mexican. When I went home to go meet their parents was like, no, you didn't bring this Negro in my house.
Oh, that's
And I
horrible.
was just kind of like, for real? Like, you moved here. You moved here. I thought you moved here to get away from that shit. And
Yeah.
yet you are judging me for not being you,
Right.
you know? And I thought that was kind of fucked up. I mean, even like sometimes like the moms, because the moms usually love me, right? They'd be like, oh, he's a good boy, he's church going and stuff, like,
Yeah.
give him a chance. And Daz was like, nah, fuck that. Like, my daughter ain't, marrying this big ass black dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's messed up, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would hate that too. If that happened. I mean, I experienced racism here too in Canada. I live in the West Coast also, so like I got spit on by like some white kids when I was younger, and they called me like "fuck you, chink," So yeah, totally not cool to experience race. I was so angry. I just like wanted to beat the shit out of them. I'm like, you pussies, you hiding your fucking car. You want to spit, Yeah. So yeah, totally get it, man. So you stand for equality. What else do you stand for? Personally, like what else is important to you besides equality? Like who do you want to be as a person?
I want to be a good father, man. I try to be the best dad I can be. Mostly because my dads weren't the best dads. I think that's important. I think that's something that we also don't appreciate. It's like underappreciated. So I guess if there's any kind of theme to my morals, is I root for the underdog or for that which is underappreciated. And I really take note of things that are underappreciated. That just sticks out to me. Like, I don't know. Kind of like how, I guess my introduction to the community, right? Where I was just kind of like, what's this big deal with being shaved? Why can't somebody else, type you? Or why does it have to be them? Like, there's an underappreciation there when it comes down to like yourself and other people outside of the originators. Like, I understand the value of the originators, but there's a lack of value. And that lack of value, I kind of find disgusting, just to be frank.
Fair enough. It's interesting. You're talking about a lot of like decider stuff, but you say it in like a more calm state, so you're not like freaking out about it. You see it as
it doesn't bug me. I mean, like I understand it. Like I get it. It's not even really that important. Like at the end of the day, it's just more annoying.
Right.
I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know if that makes sense at all. But at the end of the day, it just feels more annoying to me. Like why people freak out about simple shit. Like we got bigger problems to deal with.
Okay, so I guess it bothers you because it shouldn't be as big as it is.
Yeah, that part.
Yeah. So what is the bigger problem that you think that people should be more concerned about? So like let's get this stupid like equality shit out of the way, and so we can focus on the bigger stuff. Like what is that?
Man, like fiscal fairness, equality, like the economy, classism, Jesus, the currency differences in the world, like there, I don't know if you recognize, but when I went to Senegal, I was a millionaire. Like that's the difference in currency between America and Senegal was I was a millionaire. That part right there fucked me up because I'm like, why the hell am I a millionaire? I'm not shit. I'm from, California, the San Jose's ghettos. Like why am I all of a sudden this rich person that people are groveling to me, begging to marry me and all this other shit? Like, it doesn't make any goddamn sense. And I'm like, we don't even produce anything. Like, what does America produce? Nothing. We have a great military. And then I was like, oh, that's it. It's the military. Everybody else is afraid of us. And so because of that, we're able to say our money's worth more than your money, and if you don't like it, we'll blow you up. And the rest of the world was like, okay, fuck it, I'm down with that.
I don't think it's just the military. I think it's also Hollywood, because like the whole world knows Hollywood, right? So like
yeah, that's facts. I mean,
yeah.
we got good entertainment, but I think good entertainment exists everywhere. Like French movies are good, Indian movies are good.
They don't got Avengers, man. They don't got MCU. They don't got any of that shit.
Yeah, they don't have the giant budget. I will give you that. We have a giant budget and excellent technological resources as far as that goes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we outsource that shit. Like we do. We outsource a bunch of our technological resources to Asia, to China, to Russia, to so much.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, I can relate to what you said, because I've traveled to 96 countries around the world, and so I've been everywhere, and I have felt that feeling of like feeling like you're super rich all of a sudden. Like I went to Thailand, for example, where everything's dirt cheap, and like food is like $1 or $2 for like a nice like yummy meal, but then you can also go to Europe, like Switzerland, and you feel like you're a broke ass person.
Yeah, you're hella broke. Like yeah. First time I was in France, I was like, fuck, I'm broke. Like, I can't afford a cup of coffee in the sandwich. Like, god damn.
Yeah.
Like, they want $20 fucking dollars? $20.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like shit. And then they sell gas in fucking liters. Not fucking gallons, liters. Like you can't do shit with your money. You're broke as hell.
Yeah.
When you go to France. And they just pity you. Like they're so mean. Like those, I'm sorry. I'm gonna catch shit for saying this, but those Europeans are hella mean. They're straight rude. They don't give a shit what you feel. They're like, oh, I'm so sorry for you. So sad. So sad you were born an American. Like, excuse me? Like, what'd you just say?
Yeah.
I say the most American shit I can say. Like, I'm a foot and a half bigger than you. Don't you realize I could beat the fuck out of you if I wanted? Like, like, which is hella American, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you're using violence already. Like,
yeah, already.
Already. Yeah. I think when I went to Italy, I experienced like that thing that you were experiencing. I think in France they don't like Americans, that's why. So I get that vibe when I went there. Like I was fine when I went there, but I could tell I was like, oh, those Americans, they're not getting treated well here for some reason, like so I guess you're getting you double stereotype when you went to France, like not just being like a black guy, but also like American. It's like two for one.
Like it's weird. Like I never felt more American than when I wasn't here. And then that's when it became like very clear to me that I am an American.
Yeah, no, dude, you're definitely you're American. You're not, yeah, because like it's weird when I talk to some designers. Like let's say I talk to like a black guy, and I ask him, oh, it's like, oh, can you tell me what your like heritage is like in Africa? I'm not saying it to be racist or anything. I'm just kind of curious. I'm like, which part of Africa is your, like if someone were to ask me like, okay, what kind of Asian are you? And I'll be like, oh yeah.
I get it.
Right. But like I noticed some people were like, I actually don't know, I'm just American, right? Like, or some people will be like, I'm like, that's cool, I totally respect that, right? But like some people get really weird about it. It's like, no, I'm American, I'm not like those people. I'm like, what do you mean those people? That's your
I understand that too, because there is a, it's hard for me to voice this, but there's a minor difference between Africans and African Americans, and that difference is 400 years. Is like we like to say it, right? In that 400 years, a few things happened. We removed our clothes and our language, and that makes us now different from them. Outside of that clothes and language, most of our culture is still the same. But because of prejudice, we assume that we're far more different than we are. And you don't actually know that until you show up there.
And then when you show up there, what happened? Like what happens?
You realize they're just like your cousins.
I see.
You realize that y'all do the same things, that y'all have the same attitudes, that you just call it something different.
Right. Fair enough. My favorite country that I've ever visited to is South Africa. Oh man, like I love the accent there. It sounds so good. Like, like you should go one day, man. It's, oh my God, I love it, and their money has like animals in it. Like, they have like a lion, like a rhino. Like when I was talking to my girlfriend, I'm like, hey, can you give me one rhino and one one leopard, like so yeah, like I've been all over Africa. Like I went to the Congo. That was like intense, like the Democratic Republic of Congo. I think for most people who want to go to Africa, I think Rwanda's like I call it entry level Africa, because it's like super safe, super clean. Tons of Americans there, so it's super easy to get around. They speak English.
That's what I hear.
Oh yeah, dude, you go to Rwanda. I'm like, why so many Americans here? What the hell? Like they're everywhere. Like, so, and it was so clean. I was like, what the hell? This place is so clean. Like plastic bags are illegal there. Um, you know, so yeah, I had a good time there. So yeah. Anyways, let's go over your other parts now. So we talked about your sleep, your SF consume. SF consumes pretty obvious. And your ST play, which you've already done many times. Let's cover your NT blast. So how do you think your life would change or be different if you got like really good at like that NITE blast,
My wife would tell you that it'd be awesome, because she said that she hates talking to me because she never knows what the hell I'm talking about. Like, she's just like, when is she going to get to the point? And why do I never know what to expect from him? Like, I always know what to expect because, well, she says that she always knows what to expect because I tend to do the same pattern, even if it's something different, if that makes sense. And she knows a pattern, but she's just like, he won't tell anybody. Like, I have a tendency to leave, like, without saying anything to anybody. And they get kind of irritated by that. So I don't know. I just imagine it'd be better if people understood me when I spoke.
Is learning how to blast something that you're interested in improving, or is that something like you're just like, I'm good, like I'll just use play?
I don't know. It just never works. Every time I attempt it, it doesn't work. So it's just kind of like, I'll use play because I don't know. I get to talking about things that people just like, it sounds smart, but I don't get it. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of like, all right, fuck it. I'll just move on.
So are you into like working out and stuff?
Kind of. I mean, I have a degree in sports medicine. I used to be a personal trainer for many years, a sports therapist aide, and I used to write for Livestrong magazine.
So just a little, right?
Yeah, just a tiny bit. It's like one of the smaller parts of my interest.
Yeah.
I have a lot of skills. I guess I'm the stereotypical gatherer because obviously I've been a lot of places. I have a lot of skills.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm only asking you because from a blast perspective, NT specifically, would you be able to explain to someone the science behind like the exercises if you had to? Like, we're doing this exercise because of this reason, and then kind of like go through like the science behind it.
You know what I used to say when I was a trainer?
What?
I used to be like, I used to go, I think, SF with it. Like if I had a female client and she was in there and she's like, why do I have to do these squats? I'm like, you want a fat ass, don't you? And then she'd be like, yeah. I'm like, that's why you have to do these squats. That's all you're gonna do here, do these squats and do these lunges, because you want that guy that left you last week to know what he's missing. So the next time he sees you, he's gonna be like, damn, that ass. You're gonna be like, yeah, see what you missed? And then
that's funny.
And that's how I used to do it, man.
Yeah, and then did your clients love it?
Yeah, they love that. They absolutely love that. Like, they didn't care about the damn science. They cared about, like, I had one client who told me specifically, like, I want to look like John Cena because I'm afraid of my chest, right? Yeah. And I was just like, okay, sure. I'll get you, we're gonna do a lot of good chest work. And he's like, what, these punches? Why are we doing punches? I'm like, so when you get that flex, when you get the flex in there, and then I started doing like the announcing of John Cena, right?
Yeah.
And it just really hyped him up. And he just kept going for like, I think like 2 more sets. And I was just like, yeah, this guy's really easy to work with. Like,
yeah, I can see you be like, I can tell you're getting close to John Cena already because I can't see you. You know?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly. I would just go straight into that. I would go straight into that. Yeah, you're gonna find out I don't use my demons often.
What's that?
I don't use my demons often.
Yeah. It's fine. It's fair. It's fine. Because I think if someone were to ask me the same question, I would obviously use the play joking, but I would use it later on. Like I wouldn't use it as my front. It would be my punchline, you know? Like I'll go to science, like, why are you building up, why are we doing all this butt workout, right? And I'll be like, oh, you know, to prevent lower back pain and put the pressure in your glutes instead of your knees, you know, and I'll talk about like the science behind it. And then in the end I'll be like, and who doesn't like a nice ass, right? Like but I'll throw that in the end, you know, like I won't do what you're doing, you know, because I'm info dominant, right? So
okay. Well, because I think I'm gonna lose them. You know what I mean? Like if I give them that information right off the back, like it's the problem of being anti-blast. Like I'm not good at it. So when I tell them that, I just feel like I'm afraid I'm gonna lose them. So I go with the punchline first.
Right. Fair enough. I guess you go through what's safe, right? than like the more scary area. When I was a new trainer and I didn't know jack shit, I would also go with like the personal route. I'll just like get to know them as a person. But I noticed like as I also work in fitness, so I'm a personal trainer. So as I got better, like I'm doing it 9 years now. So I like what I do is like I have like my main thing, which is fitness, but I also skip around a lot with like the other stuff, kind of like a typical EP, you know. Like I've done like all these different jobs. But like I noticed that like the more scientific I did, like once I actually figured it out, like the more people took me seriously. Like they stopped like I feel like when you're joking around too much, you kind of you get pigeonhole as like someone that's like an entertainer, or some people might even think of you as like a joke, you know. Like my girlfriend's
it's I don't want to butt in too much, but I know that definitely when I work in law, because in law I like to say you have two different types of customers or two different kinds of clients. You have the client that wants to know that you know what you're talking about, and you have the client that wants you to tell them to shut up and trust you. And you have to kind of figure out who that client is. You know what I mean?
Right.
So most of the time when I'm talking to them, I'm kind of just tracking them. Like, okay, what does this client need? And then if they need to know that I know the law, I can let them know with a bit of text that I know the law. And then they kind of shut up. Right. But other clients, you just kind of have to, if you tell them that, they ignore it. You just kind of have to tell them, shut up, you hired me for a reason. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I see. Fair enough. That makes sense. Yeah. It's I think it really depends. Yeah, it's like what you said. I guess it depends of like who your audience is, right? Like if you're talking, is your client like info dominant or energy dominant? Then you gotta play the part, like depending on that. I guess it would be harder for you if your client was like info dominant, you know, because like they want you to. Sorry.
So kinda. I mean, when they're info dominant, I just kind of try to show them more examples.
Yeah.
You know, like give them more data that I can see, like that's obvious.
Yeah.
And then that kind of helps them out. Sometimes they ask me the questions.
I think your superpower though as an energy dominant is like you can be fun and entertaining, because I think the problem with infodom is they're like way too serious with like the information, and then they forget to like just have fun with it, you know. So I think that's like a superpower that you probably have, you know. It's like yeah you can just take it easy and stuff. So speaking of taking it easy, you have play and sleep in your top 3 animals. Can you talk about like being balanced with like preserving and managing your energy? Like, you know, you start with play first, right? So you expend first, but you know when to hit the brakes. Can you talk about like when you know it's time to chill, you know?
Well, I think I start off with, I'm always tracking how things are working. So my wife hates this, by the way. But if I say something and it doesn't go over well, I'll stop. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna keep going on something that's not working. I'll stop and try something else. And then if nothing works at all, then I might stop totally and just do actions, or, you know, get down to the nitty gritty. Like, what do you want? You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So that's kind of how I control or manage my energy.
So you're reading the room essentially, and then going with what's required
Yeah,
at the time. I
yeah,
think this is why you're feminine TE, because you're like reacting to what's going on in the room. Because if you were masculine, I think you would just force your way in and get people to adapt to you, instead of you adapting to your environment.
yeah, probably.
Yeah. Let's cover your sexual modalities. You are masculine, feminine, and you are audio kinesthetic. So even if you thought you were double masculine, you would have still been kinesthetic and audio. So regardless, you would be using those two. So let's talk about like the sound stuff first. Do you learn best from like hearing things and like sound, and like you have good ear for like music and stuff?
Yeah, I used to play a couple instruments growing up.
Yeah. Did you pick them up really quickly?
Yeah, I mean, I learned how to play the piano by ear.
Oh,
Um, I can always hear things, like my ears are hypersensitive. Um, it's kind of a problem.
yeah.
Like the level of distractions that you hear all the time is annoying at times. And even if I pay too much attention to it, like people find that irritating, because I feel like, can you change the way you're speaking because it's matching another tone in the background and you're starting to, blend in with that. And they get pissed off by that. Like, just listen to me. And I'm like, I can't. Like, I'm trying to just listen to you and you're blending it. I don't know. Does that make any sense?
Kind of, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But I can relate to some of it too, because like I'm also audio. So I get distracted by the sound stuff too. And in the kinesthetic ones, obviously you work in fitness. So obviously that's
I used to work in fitness. I don't work in fitness anymore.
right. I mean, used to, yeah. But I think if you were you always good like at sports and stuff?
Depended on the sport. Like I played sports the majority of my life. I was a shitty baseball player to start, but after 7 years, I became pretty decent at it.
Yeah.
I wanted to play basketball because I thought I was going to be tall.
Yeah.
I realized I wasn't going to be as tall as I was when I got to college.
Oh, you need to be taller.
Yeah, I'm the shortest person on an NBA team.
Dude, but that's Steph Curry shorter than you, and he's like unstoppable.
Steph Curry is almost about my height.
Really?
Think about that. Yeah. Steph Curry is about my height. Shaquille O'Neal. I met Andrew Bynum in person. And he's a 7-footer. And I went like this. It was like, oh shit, I'm not. this ain't gonna work.
So wait, how did that feel when that happened? Because like for your whole life you were like the biggest guy, right? Now suddenly you're seeing all this like big NBA players. You're like, oh, I'm tiny now. Like what? How did that make you feel?
I don't know. It was a reality check, dude. Like it was just kind of like, it was very humbling. I'll tell you that. Because you think you're big, you think you're tall. Everybody's telling you your whole life you're gonna make it to the NBA, and the other people are like, you should probably just stick with the NFL because you're kind of wide.
Right.
And then I'm like, no, I like basketball. I want to be like Kobe.
I see.
And then you get to college and you're like, I'm the shortest dude here. And this is freaking me out.
No, dude, that's not, dude. You can do it. You just gotta pull. You just have to go the Steph Curry route, like 3-pointers, or like
I did.
Jordan Poole.
I tried.
Yeah, Jordan Poole. Like that.
Yeah, but the dumb shit is when you're a kid and you're taller than everybody else, they try to make you the center,
right?
The forward, and you play the center, you're forward your whole life.
Yeah.
And then by the time you get to college, you're like, now I have to play small forward or shooting guard.
Right.
I'm not used to this position. I haven't been playing this position for years.
That's true. I guess you would need to be exposed with like taller people for you to practice that, Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're not used to it. You're definitely not used to getting dunked on. Like I remember that was the most humbling experience ever, was getting dunked on.
Yeah. Yeah. Did they talk shit to you too after they dunk over you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It was kind of like, get out of the way, little man. Like, what you mean, little man? Like, you always want to punch somebody in their nuts because, they like having nuts in your face and stuff. He's
Yeah.
just gonna run the corner.
Yeah. I heard like big people like small cars because they want to feel fast, and like small people like bigger cars. Do you feel like you've always liked like the faster cars, you know?
I'm gonna tell you a story. So when I was 18, like I said, I wasn't fully lean yet. I wasn't like totally leaned up. I was getting there. So I think I was about 210. I went down to this Ferrari shop in Redwood City, and I was just kind of like, yeah, I play for the Raiders. I want to buy this car. Right? I'm totally lying. I don't play for the Raiders. I just wanted the excuse to be able to drive the car. And I'm like, oh yeah, absolutely, sir. Come on, follow this way. And they get me into this car, and the car is so damn small, I can't reach the pedals.
Oh
Like
my
my
God.
knees are on the steering wheel.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck? And they're like, yeah, we knew you wasn't gonna fit. Like we didn't care if you were rich or not, and you weren't gonna fit in this car.
Oh, dude. So it means if you were like an NBA or football player, you could never buy those like cars then, because like they're
Yeah, no, you can't. Yeah,
Oh, that
you have
sucks.
to have them modified. Yeah.
Oh, that sucks for you for if you want that, I guess. I guess you got to be like Mayweather size, you know? Like you can get all the cars you want.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's I used to ask my uncle, he played in the NFL, why he drove the Rolls Royce. I thought it was kind of a shitty car.
Yeah.
And he was just kind of like, this is the best car I can buy when you're this size.
I see. Oh, you know, I never thought about that. You know, like you know, like a lot of rappers, they like talking about like those big cars, you know, like Land Rover and stuff. I'm like, okay, now that makes sense that you saying that stuff. All right, cool, dude. We'll wrap up the interview. But before that, do you have any final questions before we wrap this up?
Oh shit, we actually covered everything.
Yeah, I mean, you're blast last, so it's gonna be like quick, right?
I guess so.
Yeah. All right, I guess we're good. All right, thanks for doing this interview, man. It's good to get to know you better and you know, see all sides of you.
Cool. I'm happy to help anybody who's in this situation and doesn't understand where they fit in. If you know you find yourself highly offensive to other people, yet get emotionally hurt inside because you know it shouldn't be that way, think of me and think, you know what, I might be like that guy.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think you'll definitely help a lot of deciders. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right. Peace out, man.
Deuces.